Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the cafe. I hope you're all doing fantastic tonight. It is Thursday. It doesn't feel like it, but it is. Fucking somehow. Which means we're back in court. We're back... Well, actually, yes, we are back in court. Today we start our trial. First trial day. Wow, that's a lot of twerking Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all, Twerkymon. But yeah, it's our first trial day. Jesus Christ. The other day, we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. It looked pretty hopeful that Maya was going to escape from her kidnapping situation all on her own. So we will see how that goes. And as always, oh, I say always, now that I've made it a thing, since we're going back to court, we're wearing our sane model. And Miles is back. Yes. He showed up yesterday. Well, yesterday. You know what I mean. Yeah, Edgeworth showed back up. I wonder if he's gonna show back up again today and, I don't know, antagonize us, because that's what he does as a prosecutor, just in general. Let's find out. Farewell, my turnabout. Part 2-1, Trial. So I think I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. It's not a barista stream without hiccups. I think every day of this case is, like, split into 2 segments. So, like, this is Trial 2-1, and the next one that we'll be doing on Monday is gonna be 2-2. And then the next investigation will probably be, you know, Investigation 2-1, and then 2-2, and so on until we get to the end. And I plan on following that, you know, just the natural beats of the story when the to be continued screen pops up, like I always do. And like I said, that keeps us on track for my plan to have this game done and dusted right before Christmas. So, let's see. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's rein it back in and start trial day 1. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm defending you. Never mind the fact that my bestie got kidnapped by a fucking assassin. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Hi, Mia! Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know. But I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. You know, I can't decide if it's better or worse. Let me stop that first. It's him! There we go. It's probably better for Mia to be here, being channeled by Pearl right now. Because, you know, Pearl's only, like, 8. And she's going through... Her basically only family member has been kidnapped. Not necessarily right in front of her, but, like, she couldn't do anything about it. Never mind the fact that, again, she's 8. So she feels a tremendous amount of guilt about that. So I feel like it's probably good that Mia's being channeled by her right now, so Pearl doesn't have to, I guess, take in any more of this. Plus, we were talking about some pretty heavy shit yesterday in front of her. About, you know, the Adrian's mentor committing suicide and how Adrian herself attempted after that. It was some pretty heavy shit, and she was right there for it. So I think it's probably a good thing that Mia's being channeled by Pearl right now. But that's just my 2 cents. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Why your sake? Are you not enjoying being a kidnapper? Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest. If you please. Wait! Kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who's that? No one. Has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Shut up. I don't want to hear it from the likes of you. March 22nd, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Francisca wasn't over by the prosecutor's bench. I wonder where she is. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ongard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor! Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. You must tell me something. Please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane! Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. Judge is probably thinking, why are you yelling at me? Yeah, how does it feel to have the shoe on the other foot there, Judge? She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Whew. You're... I thought he'd show up. Your Honor. And he's back with his banging fucking triumphant return music. Due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Ms. Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ongard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. Got the finger wag and everything. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. What's wrong, buddy? Witness, your name and occupation.
My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now.
For now?
After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir.
Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Bare facts of the case.
This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder.
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room?
Yes, sir. Both the victim and defendant went alone to their rooms, sir.
I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. This is bothering me. Because, like, just looking at it, the cause of death is obvious. At least according to them, that he got stabbed. Well, let's see what he has to say. Cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Corrida was stabbed in this chest?
Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal.
Okay.
Take a good hard look at the photo!
Now, how am I supposed to take a good hard look at the photo when I'm flying through the air? Riddle me that.
Now, a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana.
Banana. Judge, do you need to get a fucking hearing aid?
His bandana, sir. That's the thing tightly wrapped around his neck, sir.
Oh, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Did somebody not eat breakfast this morning? Judge! This is the first case all over again with the fucking baseball glove. Then what about the knife?
It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death.
We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Oh, now we finally get an autopsy report. Time of death, 8:15 p.m. Cause, strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. First, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. You want to tell me what that was? And why did you think that?
Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that?
You just stay up there.
We thought of that too, but...
What?
The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims.
Only the victims, huh? I see. Oh, so much for my theory, then. Empty. There is some water, but only on the top of the lid. Bears Karita's fingerprints. Okay. Guitar had nothing to do with the murder. See, I still think there's something really weird about it. Because they keep emphasizing that there's water on it, but only on the top of it, which means it was closed at some point. But by the time we see it, it's open. So did somebody else, like, wear gloves and open it? Like, I don't know. Let's see if he tells us more about that. What convinced you that it had nothing to do with the case? Me hitting the options button instead of continuing the text. That's what.
The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night.
Well then, where was it?
The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Carita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir.
So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case?
Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar.
Somehow I doubt that. Because, like, if that's your signature thing, everybody's all like, oh, it's the Jammin' Ninja. He never goes anywhere without his guitar. Do you think maybe he was up to something? Like, he hid something else in his guitar case, and he was all like, oh, I'm gonna be so sneaky, hee hee hoo hoo. I don't know. That guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel.
Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all.
I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why, then, did the police arrest Matt Ongard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter.
Yes, sir.
Why arrest Ongard?
Matt Ongard and Juan Carita were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and found in Mr. Ongard's hakama.
Hakama? Never figured out how to pronounce that, right?
The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder.
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing.
It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir.
There's the victim's blood and Ongard's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Now, why would he buy a knife? First of all, can you buy such a knife from the hotel? Second of all, everybody was having fucking T-bone steak for dinner that night. So how do we know somebody didn't just, like, swipe the knife from his hotel room and stab the body with it? Like, somebody, again, probably wearing gloves, like, just, I'll take this now, hee hee hoo hoo, and stabbed him. I don't know, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree.
There's this button.
That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button is also covered in blood.
Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's, sir.
What? Jammin' Ninja's button added to the court record. Ripped from his costume, covered in Karita's blood, found in Ongard's hakama. All of this very clearly points to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I've barely done anything, so no! I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Ugh. Guys, can you please not flirt all over the courtroom right in front of my salad? Why arrest Ongard? Each other was in the way. Button. fingerprints all over the knife. No, they have to. It's the law. Yes! I mean, literally, this is law. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes it a premeditated murder. I don't think so, because like I said, it's a hotel knife. I don't think they sell knives, like, out of hotels just like this. What? Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand.
That's right, pal. The defendant
Did not buy this knife. Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It has a gatewater seal set into the handle.
Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before.
Gumshoe, please. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel.
Uh-oh.
The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? Won't you wag your finger at me? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There's no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this.
But I didn't...
Oh. Oh, poor Gumshoe! The question is, where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Kurita's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There is a knife and a fork on the table. Yeah, like I said, fucking everybody was having fucking T-bone steaks for dinner that night. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Ongard. Yep, the knife is missing. Or one of the knives is missing. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Ongard's knife was missing. Mr. Ongard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Alright, calm down. You don't need to suck his dick that hard. That's Phoenix's job. Seems like Edgeworth had this planned from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown. It means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well... Phoenix. The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, you have something important and necessary to present to this court. Well, let's take a look. Look at this graph. Okay, so the whole thing that's going on is they really want to pin everything on Adrian. And it would make sense if she had done it. Like, she had access to On Guard's room, being his manager. She could have taken the knife. But everybody keeps bringing up this whole thing about the wine glass that has tomato juice in it. I don't think that's been shown to the court yet, because they're probably like, oh, it's just a wine glass of tomato juice. Why does that matter? But I think it goes back to, I think Phoenix was saying something about it at some point about, like, there's shit all over the floor. Like, there's a broken vase, and I think, if I had to guess, that's probably how the water got on top of the guitar case. Like, the case was closed, and then the vase fell on it, broke, and splashed everywhere. But if everything that was on the table got knocked down, why is the wine glass still safe? I think that's about the only thing I've got off the top of my head. Autopsy report. Got the reports, but we're nowhere near that yet. I mean, obviously, if we say we don't, we're just gonna get a game over. So, you know what? I'm just gonna save real quick, because this just feels very, very intense. Actually, I do. There's one. And it's an ad break. We'll be right back. Alrighty then. Nothing but silence. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh my god, yeah, it is! Holy shit! You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? I think this is it, but if I'm completely off base and they game over me, I saved right beforehand. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. This scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup's all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Oh, well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was! You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It is safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I mean, again, if we're taking the angle that she's the one who did it, I seriously doubt she would just carelessly leave behind a very incriminating thing of evidence. If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. You just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. Thanks, Mia. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. You would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Do you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints. There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. What? Wine glass updated in the court record. Bears Andrews' fingerprints. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. I can. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? No, no. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Poor Edgeworth, he just got back and he already has to deal with fucking old bag. I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Old bag happened. That's all you need. Edgeworth, I love you, but if you're so smart, why haven't you asked where the hell is Maya? Well, maybe he only sees that Mia's being channeled, and I don't know if he actually believes in any of that, but maybe he just assumes that's her doing it. Just because her and Pearl wear different clothes and have a different hairdo doesn't mean anything.
Oh, Edgy boy, it's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me.
Saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand! Oh no!
I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Please don't. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all that the court needs to know.
Oh. Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now.
Teresa, it means everything. You really think he isn't observant enough to notice? Well, maybe he is, but he's more focused on the case rather than where my friend is. God, someone stick her in a home. I've been trying. But there's only so much I can do when I only have to interact with her once a year.
Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam. No, 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 please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say that the youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
Witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him.
Girl, they're the same age! What are you talking about? They are the same age, right?
They're the same age! What are you talking about? I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida.
But those two were the same age. Thank you, Phoenix.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was On Guard, Matt On Guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
I just spat all over the microphone. Holy shit. So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room.
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Do I have to? After the ceremony, I was pacing around the hallway. Something I was interested in finding out. I get the feeling this isn't actually important to what we want, but my curiosity's winning out. Something you were interested in? And just what was that?
It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. Ah, and Edgipoo, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later. Looks like we shouldn't force it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Okay, well. Okay, so this is what I want to know. Is this gonna be like the Steel Samurai case where somebody came out in the costume? And that's why she's all like, it has to be him. You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yesy.
Really?
Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Person's face, what the person was carrying, the person's clothes. So if we're gonna go back to what we were what I was just saying about how it was the person in the costume, we should probably ask about the clothes. Also, this lady has a ring on her left hand. Why is she simping so hard over all these younger men?
It's like going window shopping, dear. You can look, but you can't touch.
Or something. I don't know. Maybe her husband's dead. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket.
Old bag, if that's the case, you need to tone it down by at least 5 paces.
So what you're saying is I need to get closer to them by 5 paces so I can chase them down better. I absolutely agree, dear.
Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center, too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men!
Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? Okay, well, hang on. Something's nagging at me. Jesus fucking Christ, old bag, take a hint. She's reached the age that she doesn't give a shit about what anybody else says or does. She's just gonna do what she wants. And while I mildly admire that, I fear for Edgeworth. Okay, so what's nagging at me is that they keep insisting, yeah, that the button was found in his hakama, which is part of his costume. So was he wearing just the pants and the jacket? Like, it's very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Missed that, didn't you? Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but all right. Witness, please.
Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without a reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show.
I get the feeling this is what we have to do with it. Because I don't think we ever see how far down the jacket goes. Like, does it cover up the pants somehow, or... Let's see. Miss Oldbag.
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
Do you know what this is?
Ah! It's button number 2 on the German ninja's costume.
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance.
Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this!
Wow, she really is a diehard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. On-Guard's body during a full body search.
See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal On-Guard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his Nickel Samurai Hakama pants.
See? See? And On-Guard is the Nickel Samurai.
Oh god, this again. It is this again! It is this fucking nonsense again! Witness! Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt On-Guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket?
Ah, I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you think I was the most gorgeous woman ever, but instead I have to put up with this ridiculous looking outfit. You agree this is hideous, right? I've got a tape recorder hanging from my chest. It's heavy, so heavy I wish I would have switched to CD ages ago. I understand now. Take a look in the mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as a documentary on Curly. You should take a tip or 10 from Edgy Poo now. He's got style.
Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. On-Guard the man, but Mr. On-Guard the Nickel Samurai. It's the same fucking thing all over again.
But when you think about it...
Shut up. Shut up.
They're really one and the same anyway.
No, they're not! We did this already! Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about.
Edgy Poo, do you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
All right, if you insist.
I should be the one sighing, not you! Who I saw.
On guard. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai. That's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw.
Chat. Chat. I'm going to commit a crime. I'm going to kill an old woman. I'm gonna take her on. Fucking somehow. Barista's gonna crash out. I fucking might! Like... It's the same fucking thing! I'm out of here. Edgeworth, this is your show now. I'm out of here. I'm so you know what? Let's just take a second. Let's just take a second. Got my coffee. I'm gonna take my coffee. Is this the start of a new clip series, but instead of motorboating, it's fighting the dumbest fuck witnesses? No, because if that were the case, I would have started it from the very first case. Don't calm down, crash out. I need the shit for clips. If I crash out now, and it only gets worse, then I'll have to have a bigger crash out, and I don't want to have a bigger crash out. I don't want to have an old bag style crash out where I just fucking lose my shit and just come completely unintelligible. Anyway. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. That's why he didn't. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. Yeah, but if he did the whole thing following through on stabbing him with the knife after he fucking strangled him, he still could have got blood all over the costume. Like he did on the button. Hello, Japanifornia? Connect me to your nearest fucking old person's home. I have the perfect candidate for you. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Yes! Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. The possibility does exist. Ah, young'uns today, I told you there is no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. Chat. Chat. I hate this old woman. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Do I have to? Now I remember. It was the nickel samurai that I saw. Okay, you know what? I want to see if Phoenix is gonna say something in response. I want to see if Phoenix has anything to say, if he's gonna crash out like I just did. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago. Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what? See? And look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier, who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? The fact that I got an achievement for pressing that. I wasn't planning on that. But, Jesus. I know what the next emote I'm gonna make for you now. Oh yeah? What's that gonna be? He must have worn the costume. No, because just like last year, you thought the same shit and you were wrong. Yeah, exactly. A little Angie emote. Okay. That sounds delightful. Let me check something. Glossy photo, my push on me. Okay. So, the Nickel Samurai costume, apart from this whole freaky fucking arm thing, has gloves. If he was wearing his Nickel Samurai costume when he went to stab the other guy, how did his fingerprints get on the knife? Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. Oh no, that's not my intention at all.
That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case?
You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at.
What are we driving at, and whose car are we driving?
Well, it has to be Edgeworth's because Phoenix canonically cannot drive. If Mr. On Guard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all the previous fingerprints on this knife right off.
Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he?
He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. Why would he do that? Fucking baby's first murder, you know not to take the gloves off. Edgeworth! And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. It's ad break time. I'm gonna go quietly continue this crash out. Because holy fuck. Not me making the ad break last just a little longer because I was too busy jamming out. Totally not me. Anyway, we're back. However, there is one possibility. Are you sure? Because I don't think so, bud. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Edgeworth? Edgeworth. They fucking hate each other. There is no way that they would just casually fucking chat over everything over fucking dinner. Especially... Everybody in this case is so fucking stupid. Which is why he took his gloves off.
But the murder still did take place.
It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim.
Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? Mr. Edgeworth's theory holds about as much water as a fucking hairnet. So let me get this straight. You can't. You're bi. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? Probably, yeah. Well, for one thing, if he didn't plan on killing him, why would he bring the knife in the first fucking place? That's my thought, anyway. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible to the killer have gone to the victim's room without intent. This knife. This was used by Mr. Engard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, that he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order, order, I say, order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
To frame my client, obviously. To frame my client, Mr. Engard, of course.
To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one?
But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Ugh. Witness! Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Ugh.
Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Engard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? Again? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then. Who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security.
I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness?
Ha ha ha. The way you think, you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of?
Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Maybe. Phoenix. Maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think me is hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Old Bag? You were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Yeah, she was probably really buying into this gossip that Juan and Adrian were having a whole fucking thing. So she was probably waiting around to see whether or not Adrian would show up. Or like go into Juan's room.
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Engard's manager.
But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh, this is... Well, this is... Ah, I see.
The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing.
And this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews, without a doubt, the witness thought so as well.
Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then.
Witness? What in the world are you...
Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling.
I've got some information, some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course.
What for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here?
I really don't want to do this, however, I cannot simply let this point slide.
I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you youngins.
I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Bro, this feels like I'm at work. Where the fucking olds are just like, you don't know anything. You're basically just a kid compared to us. It's like, bro, I'm literally 30. I'm not a child.
That on guard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay?
This is ringing a bell. Hang on. Oh, that's why it's ringing a bell. Old Bag probably stole Lotta's case, read her article, took it as fact. Combined with the other tabloid article... Oh my god. That's probably exactly what it was.
The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for this court.
What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant?
Never heard that one before.
Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person?
We have looked into this matter, and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip.
But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim.
So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now.
That's right. On guard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth.
Oh, barista, I think the pain train is just getting started on its tracks. It's been going since the moment Old Bag showed up in this fucking case. Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Evil, evil. Okay, so I think... How do you... I have my theory of how she knows this. I think she's the one who stole Lotta's camera and her bag and everything. Let's see if she'll fess up to that.
Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drilled a hole in my brain, you'll never find out.
I think if we tried to drill a hole in your brain, you would just end up with a hole in your head. You would just have a little trepanation procedure. That's all. How in the world did that old bag get such a secret piece of information? Let's see if I'm right.
So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag?
Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that!
Witness? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? It's gotta be. The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless.
Ah, that's it! That's the note!
No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy!
Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note.
I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil On Guard. She said so herself. On Guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Pooh, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine.
Damn! Poor Edgeworth. Poor me. Poor everybody involved in this.
Oh, we're back at the circus, apparently. I thought we left that all behind. You know what? This is fine. This is fine. I feel like a fucking clown right now. This is my circus. These are my monkeys. Never should have gone to law school. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? No! If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness? You said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is that correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all.
You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it! Thank you, Phoenix. This is exactly what I wanted. Let's crash out together, King.
Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Yes. Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. We probably gotta present the camera again. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie..." Why did I give her Oldbag's voice? "My sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me." Why, witness!
What is it, Gramps?
If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera, too.
Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
That's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed.
It said, Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry! We must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai.
See, I told you. That's the guy I saw. Something's off about it, though. If the costume is supposed to fit him, you know, well, why are the pants dragging on the floor? Because, like, yeah, even the promo picture, he's, like, got a whole stance thing going on, but even if he was standing up straight and everything, I don't think the pants would be that much on the floor. Like, if anything, they would, like, the hem would reach the floor, and that would be it. They wouldn't be all bunched up like you can see. I'm pressing X to doubt.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter.
Picture taken in the hallway right after the murder.
What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ongard clearly stated that. At the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is...
Not necessarily. There could be more than one goddamn costume.
the
defendant.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly.
No. You've only looked at the picture, but you haven't even pointed out the pants thing. Which I, for one, think is pretty important. What do I know? I'm just a barista.
Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
Obviously not. This photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took. There's something strange with it. I think it's the pants. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree that there is nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. What, do you want to play Worms WMD with me later? I'll kick your ass.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? Probably in that pile of bears that was, like, in front of the door. I'm saving real quick because, like, if it's one of those where they, like, put the cursor on the screen and you gotta click on something, sometimes those can get kind of finicky, so I don't want to, like, accidentally click the wrong part of it and have it get mad at me. It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection.
Okay, objection! No? Okay.
What about this photo is strange?
Yeah, see, it's usually this kind of part that gets kind of tricky. Not the tricky Rickster, but like if I accidentally click too high or something, it might say,
What are you talking about?
maybe... Yeah, let's do this one because it's more obvious that it's like the person in the costume is stepping on it. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
And what does that mean?
The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard. Steel Samurai music always bangs. Bangers only.
What is the meaning of this?
I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
Yeah, for free and everything. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Yeah, and they have emphasized that Adrian is a relatively small woman. Like, short in stature. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all?
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt On Guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
He's just chilling over here. He's just like, what figurative would come to this? What?
Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt On Guard. In that case, who is this a photo of?
Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph?
Well, we probably gotta say it's Adrian. It's like I said, we're supposed to be, like, trying to pin it on her. And like I said, everybody keeps mentioning that she's, you know, short and small and stuff like that, so gotta be Adrian. And, like, who else would have access to a fucking Nickel Samurai costume? Like, that easily?
Adrian Andrews.
If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it's none other than this woman.
Why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her?
For starters, she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. On Guard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. On Guard that night.
And how does that all add up?
Means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. On Guard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order, order, order! Looks like the trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor?
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
All right, this is it. This is kind of bad for us.
Huh?
What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Probably raise an objection. Oh. Ad break snuck up on me. They caught me slipping. I'll be right back. Alright. Quiet, you. Well, that ad break gave me time to change my outfit back anyway.
Now then.
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not.
Hold it.
I abhor wasting such valuable time.
Edgeworth? Fucking finger wag.
Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Tisk tisk. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. And what do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way into Jesus Christ. That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on.
Wait. What?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby.
She is the next witness.
Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Phoenix, if you call him that man, you're just gonna sound like he does in the investigations game. I swear to fuck. I'm not even kidding. The investigations game. Edgeworth never refers to Phoenix by name. Whenever he thinks about him or anything like that, he just refers to him as that man or that lawyer or that attorney. Never says his name. It's really funny. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. To be continued. Well, if I had known it was going to end there, I wouldn't have let that ad go. Well, we made it through that without too much issue. To be fair, I also wasn't paying enough attention, and it kind of snuck up on me in the first place. But that is where we're going to call it. Because as exciting as everything is getting, there's a plan. There's a plan. I'm gonna go according to the plan. Ah! That was not part of the plan, but I suppose I should have expected it to be anyway. Yeah, we're gonna call it an early night tonight. Like, we're just gonna call it right here. And we'll get back into it on Monday. We'll go back to trial. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, but I should expect to get yoked as more regularly than I do. But yeah. I get the feeling this is gonna go on a lot longer than we want it to. Just because there's the whole frickin' I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of what's gonna happen here. Like, we haven't even touched any of the stuff that has to do with going into the whole why Adrian is even involved in the first place other than just being his manager. Because I feel it... Jesus. There's a lot that we've looked at and seen and stuff already that we just haven't even addressed yet. There are so many elephants waiting in the lobby to be addressed, and we haven't got anywhere near them yet. So I get the feeling that this is gonna go on longer than Phoenix wants it to. And I guess we will just have to get there and see. In the meantime, we're gonna go hang out with Riri for a bit. She is playing Pokemon Coliseum, which is a favorite game of mine from when I was a youngin'. Part of me is waiting for Phoenix to have a complete breakdown crying because Maya's been kidnapped. Probably. I would be surprised if that doesn't happen, honestly. Like, they're besties for the resty. They've gone through so much shit together. Like, I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a whole breakdown at some point. Like, I feel like he might just be keeping it together for now because he's in court. But if they get to, like, the end of the next trial day and a verdict isn't reached, he's probably gonna start freaking out, like you said. But we'll have to wait till Monday for that. So until then, you all have a good night, have a good weekend, make sure you eat good food, drink some water, take your meds, get some rest. Just do what you gotta do to take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Good night.